When you feel the need for top speed, you've got to come to Talladega. Stay tuned for the world's fastest stock car racing. TNN Motorsports proudly presents live exclusive coverage of the FRAM Filters 500K from the world's fastest speedway at Talladega, Alabama. There is a weather crisis alert out for East Alabama. With the humidity added to the temperature, it's an effective 105 to 108 degrees. You watch a packed crowd baking in the grandstands under the noonday sun. Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Joy, standing here sweltering a bit high atop the grandstand here at Talladega, and we're set to see some racing that's as hot as the temperature is outside. These drivers will deal with the heat, and they'll deal with the need for speed and the need to draft to attain that speed and make the moves that will get one driver to victory lane after 500 kilometers. This racetrack, especially in July and August, has been full of surprises, and it is again today. Many of the drivers starting up toward the front of the field are unfamiliar faces. Let's go to the front of the starting grid with a familiar face, Glenn Jarrett.
Well, thanks, Mike. You're exactly right. Talladega has a way of mixing things up. 6 out of the first 8 qualifiers are guys we just don't see running up front that much in the Busch Series. Chad Little, Randy LaJoie, Joe Bessie, Tim Fedewa, Ed Barrier, Tracy Leslie. They're all starting in the top 8 positions. That's kind of unusual. Now, we've just learned that Ed Barrier has been taken to the hospital. He will not be able to run his car. Jimmy Spencer is going to fill in for him. We have to drop the rear of the pack. They suspect that Ed has kidney stones. We find out anymore, we'll let you go. There is a familiar face on the pole, however, and that is Bill Elliott. Bill, you riding rocket ships. You got the pole today and tomorrow. You got enough stuff to hold them off?
Well, I don't know. You know, with a restrictor plate, you start racing, it equals things up pretty well, but we're going to give it a good shot. This Ford's been running good, and we hope we can put it in victory lane.
Well, he's certainly a guy to keep your eye on. He always runs well here at Talladega. A bunch of his Winston Cup counterparts are starting back in the middle of the pack. Let's go there with Randy Pemberton.
There's a bunch of them, Glenn. There's 7 starting outside the top 20, including Dale Earnhardt, 22nd. Terry Labonte will start 21st. Now here positioned in the Pennzoil Pontiac in the 23rd starting spot, Michael Waltrip. He's got some ice on his chest. He's won the last 2 Busch Grand National races he entered. Mike, it's hot in the car, but can you go to victory lane? That's the question.
Well, we think so. The car ran real well in practice yesterday. Obviously, we would have liked to have qualified a lot better, but we're stuck back here in 23rd for the time being, but I got some good partners around me, so I think with the help of Earnhardt and Terry and Sterling, we'll probably put the Pennzoil Pontiac up front before too long.
Okay, good luck. That's exactly right. You're going to have a dancing partner to get to the front of the field today. The Winston Cup drivers might be able to hook up, but it'll be a slow waltz to the front. Mike?
Well, thanks, Randy. TNN's proud of having all active racers up in the broadcast booth. I went to Watkins Glen last week, Pocono next week, but this week the big guns went at it. Neil Bonnet climbed back into a Winston Cup car for the first time since April of 1990. That mom and pop's Goodwrench Chevrolet is a virtual twin to the one Dale Earnhardt will drive tomorrow. And Neil, glad to be back in the saddle, will start 20th in tomorrow's Die Hard 500. Welcome back. Buddy Baker has been doing some testing as well for the Jeff Gordon team, and so they brought a second car here to Talladega. It was very quick in practice, but after rolling through inspection, NASCAR had to make some changes to the cowl that took 2 full seconds off the race car, and it failed to make the show. But for this race, they're up here alongside me, and fellas, what are we going to look for today? Here's from 2 guys that were just out there a couple of hours ago getting at it.
I tell you what we're going to look for, some way to cool off. It's as hot as I've ever seen it in Alabama, and at this racetrack this time of year, it's always punishing to the drivers. But, Buddy, I don't think I've ever seen it this hot in a race car.
You're right, Neil. It is some kind of hot, folks. And I'll tell you something else. They're going to have to watch the water temperature out there because it will creep up when you're in the draft out here. And you also have to position yourself where you got that always in contention and ready to make a move there at the end of the race.
I'll tell you one thing you got to be careful about making those moves, Buddy. This draft is so effective with these little 6 cylinders, these restrictor plates. You better have your partner, like Randy Pemberton said. You better have somebody to go with you. You make a move, you don't get some help, you go to the rear, and it's not easy getting back to the front.
Well, fellas, everywhere you turn here at Talladega, there are memories of Davey Allison. Last week at Pocono, there was a moving tribute to the 32-year-old speedster who lost his life in a helicopter crash. So Talladega is home to the Allisons and to Davey's career. He started his first superspeedway race here in ARCA, won his first ARCA race here, started his first Winston Cup race here, and won his first Winston Cup victory here. In all, 4 ARCA victories, 3 Winston Cup victories, and an IROC win. 8 wins at Talladega tops all drivers. He won in 3 different major series. That tops all drivers. And here in Alabama, the scene of his greatest triumphs and final tragedy, we join with the fans from around the country who mourned his loss.
When I'd hit bottom, that old man raised his glass, said at least we've had our chances. There's those who never have. So here's to all the soldiers.
Today's exclusive TNN coverage of the FRAM Filters 500K is brought to you by Allied Signals FRAM Filters. You can pay a little now or a lot later. By Stanley. Since 1843, Stanley's been helping people do things right. By Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. And by BF Goodrich TA Tires. When you're ready to get serious. They have fired the engines and rolled the field here at Talladega. Let's bring you up to date on the Busch Series. Here's the Haviland update. The Busch Series had the last 2 weeks off. Their last event, the Haviland Formula 3 250 at Milwaukee. Bobby Dotter sat on the pole, but Jeff Burton from the outside quickly sprinted to an early lead. Points leader Steve Grissom cut down a tire, and problems getting the jack under the car put him a lap down within the first 5 laps of the race. Robert Presley was among those who would try to take the lead away from Jeff Burton without success over the first 45 laps. Older brother Ward had less luck. A cut tire ended his chances to win. He finished 19th. Rusty Wallace made a rare Busch appearance, but succumbed to transmission trouble. Todd Bodine at number 34 came from 11th and took the lead away from Burton on lap 69 in a race that would see 20 lead changes. Among the 9 leaders, Joe Nemechek, who put his Chevrolet out front at lap 105. David Green wanted a piece of the lead and took it away from Bodine. Meanwhile, Steve Grissom made a pit stop under Green, got a lap back from Larry Pearson, and then when Pearson stopped, came around and got another lap back as Roy Payne's car went off on the hammock during this caution. When the race went green, David Green couldn't, and Larry Pearson shot into the lead. But it was Steve Grissom who put his Chevrolet out in front of Pearson and took home the checkered flag. Grissom pads his point lead by 66 over David Green. Chuck Bound is 3rd, Ward Burton is 4th, and Robert Presley 5th in the point standing. Sears Die-Hard Battery, now with more power when you need it most, presents the starting grid for today's race at Talladega. On the pole, the winner at Watkins Glen scores his first ever Busch Series pole. That's Bill Elliott, the Budweiser Fords. And Chad Little has his best Busch Series start. In row number 2, Randy LaJoie is the new driver for the Dick Moroso team, and Joe Bessie, 2nd in the rookie points. Row 3, Tracy Leslie, 1 in ARCA here in '89, and Kenny Schrader. Row number 4, Tim Fedewa, the rookie from Michigan, with his best start, and Jim Spencer will start for Ed Ferrier. Darrell Waltrip inside of row 5, and Ernie Irvin, defending champ of this race. Rodney Combs finished 8th at Milwaukee. Dale Jarrett has 8 Busch Series wins. Jack Spray got a top 10 at Martinsville, and Joe Nemechek, the '92 champion. Tom Peck, 7th in the point standings, and Jeff Burton, who won at Myrtle Beach. In row 9, Richard Lassiter ran 10th at Daytona, and Robert Presley with 2 wins. Todd Bodine, who won up at Dover, and Larry Pearson, twice national champion in the 10th row. Terry Labonte, the Watkins Glen runner-up, and Dale Earnhardt, who dominated Daytona. In row 12, Mike Waltrip, a 2-time winner, and Harry Gant, a 20-time Busch winner in his career. Bobby Dotter, who won the Milwaukee pole, and Sterling Marlin makes his 3rd start of the year. Mark Martin with 2 Busch wins, as has Ward Burton. In the 15th row, Tommy Houston and Steve Grissom, the points leader. Billy Standridge makes a comeback effort here, and Chuck Bound, the '90 champ. Hermie Sadler, the leading rookie, with Mike Wallace in row 17. In the 18th row, Rick Wilson makes his 2nd Busch start of the season, with Ricky Craven, who had a 2nd up at Hickory. David Green is 2nd in the points. He shares that row with Jim Bound. Then it's Jeff Green making his first start since May, and Shauna Robinson. Provisional starters, rookies Roy Payne and Jason Keller. They're in the back straightaway. Getting set for a start this time by, there's Chuck Bounds, Nescafe Pontiac. He'll be one of our in-car cameras today. Our FRAM in-car camera shows you this view from the 360-degree cam, and we'll also have the face cam. There's Chuck already wiping the sweat from his eyes as they complete that pace lap. Also, we'll be riding along with Mark Martin. Chuck cinches up the belts. Let's go to Chad Little there on the outside pole then. In that case, Chad Little had a great run at Dover. Starts up there on the outside pole alongside Bill Elliott. If it's paper Bayer, select aspirin car inside Chad Little's car and switching then from the 360-degree route or inside the car cam. There goes the pace car. Mark Martin, you see the roof cam atop his Winn-Dixie Ford, number 60. You're inside with Mark Martin as we come down for a start. There from the roof cam. Past his packed grandstand, there's the press box to the right and the Birmingham Tower grandstand straight ahead. We're set to roll. We also have Shauna Robinson, Polaroid Captiva car carrying in-car camera today. We are under green for 117 laps. 500 kilometers at the world's fastest speedway.
Chad Little got a real good start there. He's right out in front there, moving away from Bill Elliott right at the moment. But Bill's got a strong car down the back straightaway. You look for him to move right up.
A young fella in number 20 who has something to prove, Randy LaJoy. His father, great modified racer from Connecticut, Don LaJoy. Randy running for second, but he's out of the draft. And look at him back here.
Mike Walker, that yellow car, we heard him talk at the top of the show. Him and a bunch of the Winston Cup guys going to try to get together. Walter 3 deep on the inside, trying to move up.
4 wide, they entered the corner. Never mind the draft. Look at the shuffle for position.
Just like Buddy said, there comes Bill Elliott. That motor got wound up down that back straightaway. He's right on the outside of Chad Little. There goes Schrader to the inside.
It's a wholesale shuffle through the tri-oval. Right there is where the start-finish line would be at Daytona, but here it's much further down right here.
I can guarantee you one thing. Schrader's car is strong to make that move with nobody helping him there.
Help. Ernie Irvin's right with him now. Elliott, Schrader, Irvin. There go the Chevrolets underneath Elliott's Ford to the front.
Well, Schrader said his car was flying up here. It looked just exactly like it's doing. There comes Chad Little back on the inside.
Neil, he made that move. If you notice, the 4 car went with Elliott, and he actually fell back when he fell in behind Elliott. Schrader is strong.
It looks like the pace lap again. They're 2x2 all the way down. Today, our helicopter-mounted aerial camera sponsored by Polaroid, the new Polaroid Captiva instant camera. How's that thing work?
Very
More or less. Sorry, I didn't mean to throw you there. Chad Little on the bottom underneath Bill Elliott. On the top side, that's Schrader, Elliott, Irvin. Is that Earnhardt?
Yeah, Earnhardt's already up.
Where did he come from?
Started 22nd, I believe. And he's
So fourth.
third or fourth right now. Waterloo up through traffic. You're right. Where did he come from?
I can't believe it.
Well, I tell you, once Schrader got out front, he said that the motor in his car was certainly strong this week. He's got it out front. He's going to be a hard guy to pass. There's Earnhardt. He's in that bottom lane. Who's that? It's hard to tell who that is working with him coming through traffic. No, that's Mark Martin.
That's Mark.
So those two guys have gotten together trying to work that inside lane back up front.
Neil, that doesn't really work. They got to get closer on each other so they can move up on it.
Yep.
Now, there's one Busch regular up in the front of that bunch. Joe Bessie has hung on the outside lane. He's running 5th in that outside line. That's Dale Jarrett in the yellow car. Picket pay number 32, leading the outside of that second pack.
They got him a pretty good pack going.
Harry Gant.
Gant blew up going down in the first turn.
Driving the Woolite car today. There's David Green going past.
You know, it's nice to see when they blow.
Yep.
Did they drop? Yeah, caution's out.
I saw the caution come up the second turn when they threw it out. Schrader waving his hand to back it down. No one's been lapped, so the procedure here is just to back down and not race back to the line.
Trouble is, with everybody 2x2, they're going to have to do some sorting to see who lines up where for the restart.
There'll be plenty of people arguing that I was an inch ahead of the other one.
Right.
This whole track is so big and wide. A while ago, they came through this section here, the tri-oval area, 3 and 4 wide, and they still had plenty of room on each side of them.
So Schrader leads the back to caution. Jeff Green takes his car behind the wall. And we'll be back to sweat a little more here at Talladega. 4 laps complete. We're under caution at Talladega as we complete the 5th lap. Ken Schrader leading Bill Elliott. Ernie Irvin is 3rd. Dale Earnhardt is 4th. Dale Jarrett is 5th. Sterling Marlin is 6th. He started 26th. Joe Bessie is 7th. Joe Nemechek, Chad Little, Ward Burton, and Tim Fedewa. Here's what happened to Harry Gant.
There he is going down the first turn. Buddy was mentioning before, the high heat we have here could possibly contribute to some of these motors leaning out and burning these pistons.
Well, when water temperature gets up, when you're running in tight draft like that, you know, it can burn a piston before you ever even feel it.
So Gant in Ed Whitaker's car. This week, the Woolite Chevrolet goes to the garage. And we'll have a look at the in-car from Shauna Robinson. Polaroid Captiva car. Here's the 360-degree race cam. Yes, these are instant pictures. These are live. We've got a face cam in that car as well. There's Shauna. That visor up, get a little air through there in the caution.
I really like that Captiva. It makes me look better than Mike Joy, so I'm really for that.
Fast shutter speed?
No, it didn't develop.
Yeah, right.
Thanks, Neil.
Oh, boy. We're going to take a break and sort this out. We'll be right back to the world's fastest speedway. Looks like we'll take one more lap of caution here at Talladega. As you watch from Mark Martin's car, he's presently in 6th place up there in that lead draft. They roll down the back straightaway, some 3,500 feet under the caution flag. Let's go down to pit road. Randy Pemberton.
Well, guys, just update you on a couple of guys that made pit stops. Bobby Dotter had to come in because he had oil all over his windshield from Harry Gant's blown engine. They topped the fuel off, so he'll be able to go a couple of laps probably more than the other guys. Also, Billy Standridge has got a transmission problem. It's stuck in gear, so Standridge's going to have a problem the rest of the day.
Motorsports Designs car for Standridge trying to make a comeback attempt here out of Shelby, North Carolina. Very hazy day here at Talladega. It doesn't really show in these sharp camera shots from around the racetrack, but as we look from here across to turn 3, which is a distance of over a mile, it's very, very hazy. You're able to tell the colors of the cars, and that's about it from there. Today's weather, beastly hot. 94 degrees right now, 56% humidity. The heat index, 108 degrees, 40% chance of rain. Neil, wasn't that long ago we were talking about the wind chill factor and how deep the snow was in Atlanta.
Yeah, I know. I was in the race car today, and I was about to burn them. I told him, I said, get me a picture of the blizzard, and let me put it on the dashboard. I'm going to need to look at that thing some tomorrow. But I tell you what, I just said 94 degrees. I want to find where that's at. It's not 94 here. I want to get in that cool spot.
Yeah, right. 108 with the heat index. And under caution, do you feel that heat more under caution than you do under green?
I think so. You don't have the air going around the car like you do it at close to 200 miles an hour. You got a vacuum that builds up in the car, and when you're running slow like this, all the heat comes right back into the firewall and up under the car.
As you look back through the field here, it wasn't just Winston Cup drivers making runs up through the pack. Ward Burton started well back in the field today, 28. And Ward has now moved up into 10th position. So he got a good run along with that solid pack of Winston Cup drivers. Randy Pemberton was standing in at the top of the show. 2 wins this year for the older of the 2 Burton brothers out of South Boston, Virginia.
You know, Mike, the only thing I figured that happened a little bit earlier, we didn't see Earnhardt and Sterling. They did it so quick, we watched for the lead for just a couple of laps. Those two are running right there together. They must have hooked up and really got a run down that back straightaway, move them as much as they did those few laps we ran.
Point leader Steve Grissom started 30th. He's up to 17th. Chuck Bound started 32nd. He is 16th. Among the drivers who moved up through the field well in those first couple of laps.
You know, we heard Bill Elliott say this restrictor plate stuff levels it out. You can make those big gains when there's a pack of cars in traffic. Now, when they get single file, it's even harder to pass. So that's when you'll see those big shuffles on those restarts.
Chad Little went from 2nd to 9th, and Randy LaJoie got kicked back from 3rd on the start to 12th. Pace cars in. Single file restart. Everybody's still on the lead lap. We've completed 7 of 117 laps. The 8th this time by. Schrader starting to accelerate as you watch from the start-finish line located halfway down the first straightaway at Talladega. There's a little speedy drive being kicked up there. And it's Ward Burton coming up the outside.
Yeah, he made a professional move there. You can't pass on the inside, but you can on the outside. So he made about 3 cars there on the restart.
Drops in behind Chad Little. And just ahead of the rest of the pack as they really string out on this restart. A couple of guys got caught napping, it seems, and they're strung half the length of the back straightaway. Up front, they're pretty tightly packed.
These are tricky plates. All you got to do is not get on that throttle quick. Boy, there's Ernie Irvin in the 4 car. See him diving in under Bill Elliott, and he's got to make this pass. He doesn't move over, he's going back, but he was able to get enough on clearance on Bill to slide up in line.
And what Schrader did there, he saw the 4 car coming. He kind of moved down to pick him up. He wants to draft with them, I think.
Elliott now drops low as they come through the tri-oval. Earnhardt high, and Elliott dropping back.
Mike, what happened over there, like it sometimes, when it looked like a guy dropped off, he was down low, but that whole line drove up. It looked like he might have a problem. He's down there along the track, but I don't know if Bill moved down so much as the whole line ganged up on him, went on the outside. They sure got him hung out, moved into the rear.
Most of that whole line were Chevrolets. Elliott's in a Ford.
Yeah, what do you think?
Although Mark Martin is 5th. Excuse me, he's not. He is back in 8th in Ford. Now Schrader caught up high, and there they go.
That's what's bad. When you're leading the race, you never know where that pack's going behind you. And they'll be giving these hand signals back and forth. Let's go, let's go. But they don't tell the guy leaving.
See, Sterling, he caught on the bottom just like Bill was. He'll probably go to the end of that line.
Leapfrog among the front 8 drivers. Irvin in front, Earnhardt, Dale Jarrett, Schrader. Joe Bessie and Joe Nemechek are the 2 Busch regulars up in that pack. That's Chad Little up high. That'll split them up a bit.
Now that's a good move. When you make that move going in the corner, move to the outside, that makes the inside car have to wait and fall back in line behind you.
It's just what Nemechek had to do. Going for the lead, Earnhardt.
Garrett moved to the outside. Go think about 3 wide. Moved up a little bit. Earnhardt's hung on the inside now. They're going to give him some of that treatment. He'll be shuffling back some.
Look at this.
Elliott almost got down on the apron as Joe Bessie tried to come down and go with Schrader. And Ward Burton is right up there with him.
They're going to be 3 wide coming through this trial.
Wow.
You know something, Neil? These Busch Grand National guys don't wait on anybody. Look at this Ward Burton. He's up here in 3rd place already, and he is really driving the wheels off that car.
Randy LaJoie right back up to the lead pack. And look at Ernie Irvin. He got kicked from the lead back to 6th place.
And Elliott, who was out of the picture a while ago, has worked his way back into 2nd. He lost the lead draft, and I thought he was having a problem. Now he's 2nd again.
And Earnhardt went back to 8th. Now he's pushing Randy LaJoie along. They've got a little help.
Did you say pushing? I think I saw him pushing right there.
Chad Little right behind Earnhardt.
But as close as you can get.
4-car breakaway now, and here comes LaJoie. That blue Finaloop car.
They have a spin.
Trouble, Mike Wallace and Todd Bodine. Caution car comes out.
Going in turn 3 over there. Had a problem.
And we complete the 12th lap under the 2nd caution of the day. Todd Bodine, and I believe that first car might have been the FDP brakes car of Mike Wallace.
Trying to see if anyone else came out with any damage. I don't see any other cars that got into it other than the 2 that were spinning that was on there.
So we'll have a look at it when we come back. At the world's fastest speedway, we're watching Busch Racing live on TNN. We're under the 2nd caution of the day here at Talladega for a wreck up in turn number 3, and Shauna Robinson got into the back of it. There's her Polaroid Captiva car. Let's have a look, show you what happened. It's Rick Wilson in 75, Todd Bodine in 34.
You can see they got together there. Looked like Rick may have come up just a little bit. Ooh. Look at the car in the air here.
That's Todd. Mike Wallace was the car high up against the wall, sliding along through turn number 3.
That's when you realize having to run that right side window and having those strips down the top of that car, that kept that car from getting airborne and really getting up where it would turn over and over and over down through there.
Yeah, it looked like he hit it up on 2 wheels, pretty bad shape, and set back down.
But Todd Bodine took quite a flyer as they work on Shauna Robinson's car. get it hooked up to the wrecker there at turn 3. Bodine, Mike Wallace, Rick Wilson, and Shauna Robinson, the 4 cars involved. And up at the front, drivers that are 12th one lap or 3rd the next. One lap you come by leading the race, the next lap you're 10th.
Yeah, like you feel like you pass them and say, boy, I got him now. The next thing you know, you call them and say, I think the motor blew up. No, they're just going by. And that's what it feels like, buddy. When those guys go by, it feels like your motor just shuts down.
Yeah, it does. And then you got to find somebody to work your way back up, and all of a sudden you pass the car that passed you just the same way.
That's the way it goes here at Talladega. We'll be right back with more Busch Series action from the fastest speedway on Earth, live on TNN after this. TNN Motorsports' exclusive coverage of the FRAM Filters 500K is brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. Now there's what we need, is a pool to beat the heat in here at Talladega. That's one way to do it. We're under caution here for the second time today. A 4-car wreck up at turn number 3. Let's show you another look at it.
See him going down the middle of the back straightaway. See the 75 car on the inside? Boy, they got together and he turned him 75 directly out in the outside wall right in front of the other cars that didn't stop. See the 34 car almost got off the ground there for a minute.
Neil, you could tell that wasn't really a hard hit at all. If you could physically get your arm out the quarter panel and just touch a car with your arm, you could turn it around because they're so light going in the corner like that.
Yeah, when you test these cars, they weigh 3,200 pounds, and then they weigh like 50 pounds on the rear, runs at full speed.
So we're under caution again. Let's get an update from the pits of David Green, the point standing runner-up. Here's Randy.
Well, buddy, you guys were talking earlier about the drivers need to keep their eyes on the gauges today because it is so hot out there. Well, David Green was keeping his eye on the gauge. The water temp was going up, oil temp going up. What they did was they took this panel off the front of the grill, the lower portion of the grill, the 44 car. They don't want to blow an engine here because if you're out now, you're not going to gain too many points. He's second in points. So David Green keeping his eye on the gauges, and car's not handling this well, but they certainly don't want it to blow up. So they're going to try and keep the thing cool by taking this off.
Todd Bodine came into this race 9th in points. He's now out of it. Out of the race, that is. Mike Wallace was 15th in the point standings. He's in the garage.
Mike, they might have a pleasant surprise. If the car's not handling real well, they take that panel off, it tightens the race car up. That nose piece really loosens the car up, and you want to close it up where the car will have a lot of speed, and you sacrifice some handling. The radiator made them take it off. They might find out they're driving better now.
If he runs too hot, he won't need it to handle. It'll be going round and round.
That's right.
You see just above where it says Lumina there on that front spoiler, that's that lower grill opening that Randy talked about. On David Green's car, there's a good look at it. They had that blocked off.
You know, what you want to do, you want to run maximum block off that you can. You know, you want to bring the motor up 220, 225, and just try to get the most speed you can out of the car.
As you can see right here, look at the heat coming up off that racetrack. It looks like you're underwater almost, so it is really hot here, and I guarantee you he does a smart thing by unplugging that front.
Shimmering heat here at Talladega Superspeedway. Ken Schrader out in front of Bill Elliott. Ward Burton, Sterling Marlin, and Randy LaJoy. We'll be right back to Talladega. There's a look at the infield and road course portion of Talladega Superspeedway. These aerial shots brought to you exclusively by Polaroid. Now introducing the new Captiva instant camera. Getting set for a restart this time by, again, it will be single file. 35 cars on the lead lap.
Mike, all this infield course right here is used by Harley-Davidson all year long. We were just up in their neck of the woods a while back, and this is the test facility for Harley-Davidson year-round.
Turn 4. Pace car. It looks like it's just creeping along, but it's running, what, 70, 80 miles an hour here?
About 85 or so. They must be moving on pretty good, Steph, on that banking. It looks like you stopped, though. These cars restart in second gear. You don't wound up.
Well, Neil, you know, going up through the gears, you have power in second. Third, you don't have as much power. When you go into high, you think you choke down almost.
So the pace car is in, and Ken Schrader will lead them around. Bill Elliott is second. Ward Burton is the first of the Busch regulars. He's third. Sterling Marlin is fourth. Randy LaJoy is fifth. Irvin, Earnhardt, Jarrett, Little, and Nemechek, the top 10. Robert Presley's moved up to 11th ahead of Jeff Burton and Joe Bessie. Green flag. Elliott stays right locked on to Kenny Schrader.
I think that's a smart move, because I think Schrader, if you notice, when they have these big mix-ups and all, he always ends up back at the front. So I think Bill, and look at Ward coming up in there, I guarantee you he'd like to be leading this thing.
10-car breakaway at the front of the field.
Yeah, Bill's going to be, looks like Bill might be content to try to let him and one or two other cars try to break away from that big pack. Because a while ago, he suffered. He went from 1st to 11th, but he was able to get back here. So they'd like to break him up before these plates, just like he said himself. It keeps everybody packed together.
Well, Sterling Marlin's having none of that. He's moved up in the 4th there, and you see him making a move on the inside, and he's got a good train of cars with him.
Here we go. Irvin's going to go with the black car of Sterling Marlin, and everybody else will take the high road.
It's kind of like having a boat, add another motor to it. The boat on the inside just got 2 motors. It's going to be hard to overcome that big line on the top, except they're 3 wide, and that's going to slow that outside lane down. There's Earnhardt one right up on the top.
Randy LaJoy scoots through the middle in that number 20 Phenaloop car up behind Marlin.
Now you see Marlin move back in line there. Now they should move away from that inside line and go right up. They'll move these 2 cars on the inside back in behind those lines.
Like Sterling driving to the bottom right there. He's got Earnhardt behind him. He'll probably go with him. Sterling's one of the guys that's really aggressive about getting to the bottom of that racetrack, trying to get to the front.
He's going to have to go it alone. Randy LaJoy is the only other car to the inside, and now LaJoy goes back up into the groove. And it's Marlin by himself. Bye-bye.
That looked like such a good idea for a minute.
Yeah. Seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah, you call the pits and say, guys, I had a heck of a game plan, but you won't believe what happened.
Yep. Earnhardt keeps the nose out from behind Ward Burton's 3rd place car. Here he comes.
A lot of this stuff today, he's going to try to get up there. He's laid right on the quarter panel. Here he comes. He's got Dale Jarrett with him. Jarrett's Speedway car always works good.
And Chad Little.
Now, they got enough muscle here. They might be able to do it. They've got 3 cars working at a time. And look at Earnhardt slides in and leaves Jarrett hanging out now.
Yeah, that's so much for the buddy system.
I think he picked the buddy lead. He decided to follow Schrader a while.
And look what it did to the whole rest of the pack. Brought him right back to the leader.
And there's Sterling 3 deep. He said, I found me even a lower place.
Yep, he's got a good strong car, but he's advancing to the rear. That's Capio.
Boy, look right up on the wall. Burton.
Ward Burton is running this racetrack just like you have to run it to stay up there. He knows that if he goes to the outside up against the wall there, that groove, those people have to come up and start moving.
I'm glad they didn't want to make it back straight away from wide. They're 100 yards wide coming into the man.
Yes, Burton way up on the wall. On Schrader.
Boy, I tell you, I don't think Schrader knew he was there. Because he almost pinched him on the wall on the top. Somebody running that high, it's hard to see him up there.
Now look who's coming up on the bottom at the front of that pack is Joe Bessie.
Yeah, along with 30 other cars.
On the bottom. Is this Mike Waltrip?
Yep, that's Mike.
Huh. He came out of nowhere.
You know, just a minute ago, we were talking about 6 cars pulling a little way.
Yeah.
And here comes the field back again. It's like a restart.
Mike Waltrip, the yellow car, the Pennzoil car, down to the bottom of the racetrack. Trying to drag a bunch with him. Randy LaJoy and Dale Jarrett.
Neil, that move to the outside is wonderful as long as you don't run out of real estate.
Yeah.
You've seen what happened while ago.
You know, while we were at the rear, Earnhardt got around. Elliott must have went with Earnhardt because Schrader's back in 4th.
Irvin is 3rd, Schrader is 4th, Burton is 5th. His brother Jeff Burton's come up to 6th, and Robert Presley is working with Jeff Burton. They've come from 11th and 12th, now up to 6th and 7th.
And here comes Ernie Irvin. He's got Schrader with him. It looks like Burton's going to fall in there with him. Schrader's had one of the cars that was able to go to the front. There's Irvin down under Earnhardt. He's clearing him. Schrader's going along with him. Comes Ward Burton.
First time we've seen the Burton brothers on the bottom, and here come the Busch guys. Ward Burton, Jeff Burton, Robert Presley, Joe Nemechek. They're all teamed up.
There's Presley tucked in with him. His car's good.
That car Ward Burton shows me a lot of muscle. He just moves when he gets ready to.
From 1st to 18th place, it's only 1.1 seconds. There's the scorecard this year. So far, pretty even.
Well, the plate racing slowed it down to start with. People didn't like it, but it's certainly a lesson for the fans. They get to see some good racing.
Burton in that white Baby Ruth car. He's going to get back a spot as you ride with Chad Little.
You see those hands how he's moving around there? That car looks like it's running real smooth, but that back end's jumping everywhere.
Yeah, just kind of leave the wheel on, let the back end keep up.
You think you're steering the front end, but it's the back end steering you, right?
I tell you, it's like a hook ladder truck. Somebody's back there helping.
It's the wind.
Yeah. We joke about that, but they put those side windows and those skirts, and you'll actually drive off in the corner, and it'll try to break loose, and it'll lay on that wind, that big square side of that car, and flatten out and straighten itself back up.
Well, they straighten themselves out around Ward Burton. Jeff Burton goes around him on the outside. 3 cars to the bottom. Robert Presley hooks up with Ward now.
4 wide through the tri-oval again. You know, the driver's going to have to keep him a notepad who worked with him and who didn't. Because so far, each one of them has threw the other guy in the ditch a couple of times. At the end of the race, you want to remember who dished it out, because you want to give it back to him.
Yeah, with 10 laps to go, throw notepad away.
Love that song, Some Days You're the Windshield.
And the other day, you're the bug.
There's a lot of that going on out here right now.
Front group, while they're messing around, they're going to get a little bit of room. They've got to be careful not to let a few of them get away. Reserve in lead, Schrader second, Earnhardt third. Alex in there fourth. Just a little bit of gap on the other guys.
Got 6 cars out front now. Irvin, Schrader, Earnhardt, Elliott, Jeff Burton.
You know, when we say they slowed them down, they slowed them down from 200 to 185, 188 miles an hour. They're still plenty fast.
Excuse me, let's put Nemechek up there in 4th. Jeff Burton in 5th. Mike Waltrip, Randy LaJoy. That's the breakaway. 7 cars. Here goes Schrader. That'll tighten it all back up again.
You know, sometimes they might be content to stay there, but that water temperature gauge is telling someone, hey, I can't follow this guy. I'm cooking the motor. I got to get out and get around, or either I'm going to have to back it up some.
I believe he's going to have a chance to go back to the back of the line and cool it down.
Yeah. So let me move back there and start over again.
Here comes Michael to help him. The AC Delco Chevrolet of Schrader on the inside.
Somewhere you've got to weigh it out about burning the motor down and staying in that back. So I promise some of those guys are going to cook them if they're not careful.
No, you see these 2 cars drafting on the inside. They don't have the advantage of a long line to fill those holes up and really pull back up into contention. You see them dropping back. That inside line, unless you've got a big line of traffic with them, you don't need to do that.
They'd like to move back in that outside lane. There might be a hole there the width of your car, but you're not running the same speed. And you pull up in there and somebody will wrap you on that rear bumper and send you for a ride.
Or your spotters say you're clear and you pull over, and about that time you turn sideways, you run into somebody's quarter panel.
3 wide again, back behind the leader.
You know, this is the front straightaway of this racetrack. And you can see it's not any straightaway. It's one of the toughest sections of the racetrack. The corners are banked 30-something degrees. You got about half of that degree of banking in the tri-oval, and you're running the same speed, so it's tough getting through there.
Look at this second pack. They're 2 and 3 wide behind the top 10. Here's the lead pack, 10 cars strong. Bernie Irvin back to Michael Waltrip. There's that second group. A lot of good racing back there. Excuse me, there's Waltrip in that second pack. It was Dale Jarrett trailing the first one.
Okay, Nemechek's doing a good job. He's got himself right up there in the front and just really been working since the green flag dropped. Worked right back up to the lead.
Riding with Chuck Bound.
Wow, I tell you what, that makes me homesick. I'd like to be out there with you tomorrow, Neil.
Yeah, it'd be fun. I'm telling you. Anyway, boy, look at the car wiggle right there in front of him, trying to get up in front of him.
So Tracy Leslie just ahead.
The ideal thing, like Buddy's talking about, right here, trying to get to the outside of the guy and take that outside line away. Just, here we are at the face cam. You see him going down in the corner here. Very little turn into the steering wheel right here. The degree of banking rolls up so much, you almost leave the wheel straight. The car just runs in the banking, virtually turns itself, and then straightens back out. You won't see it crank the wheel much here. Be a little jerking, but not much turning.
Down back about 21st place.
Once you get into here, you can see just by looking at this shot, you're relying on that driver in front of you. You can't see a whole lot in front of you. You depend on the driver in front of you to lead you along.
Chad Little in 17.
You can see out the front of Chad Little's car there, you can see the back of these cars moving around. You see what I'm talking about? It's not smooth at all.
Back with Chuck Bound right behind Larry Pearson in the Stanley Tools car.
You know, Mike, you say, look at this car. He's in 21st spot. He's flying. He's not far from the leader.
Yeah.
He's right in there.
Yeah, so you get yourself boxed in here. Here he is in that outside lane, and there's that's Mark Martin inside, but like you're talking about, both of Marquis say, do I need to pull that outside lane or not? Is this inside lane going? It's almost a decision. You get over, you say, oh man, I got it wrong. No different than going to work in the rush hour traffic. You get one lane that runs good for a while, the other slows down.
Let's check down on pit road.
Well, I'm here with Jeff Hensley, Chuck Bound's crew chief. Water temperature going up on the car. You're in the hunt there. What can you do about it?
Well, you know, right now the only thing we can do is just try to breathe the car as much as we can, try to stay out in the open. But, man, that's hard to do here because you really need to be in line. But, you know, he moved back. It went to 260. He moved back and kind of got out of line, and it's dropped back to 230, 225 right now. But we just get in here and cool it off for the first stop, put some water in it. I don't feel like we're the only one having this problem, but I hope we're not anyway. But, you know, we can just get the ST Pontiac cooled down. We've got a really good car. We're just too early right now to take a chance.
Well, you see that second pack is caught back up to the first 10. Ward Burton and Dale Jarrett getting shuffled back as Mike Walker and Steve Grissom move up. Well, Grissom's come a long way today. Started 30th. He's in the top 10.
He's on his regular game plan. He qualifies back, moves up when the race starts.
You know, they said something real important. 260, he's starting to lose water if it's that hot. You really have to watch that thing because about 220, it starts spitting just a little bit of water out and it'll use it up in a hurry.
Well, one of the problems it creates is the hotter it gets, it loses power. And he's talking about he's backing off a little bit. When he's got a lot of power, he can afford to back off some. But when it starts running hot, you can't back off. It's just a snowball effect. And I'll tell you what, he's going to be to the rear if that thing's running that hot.
Riding with Mark Martin a second ago. Let's look at that pack he's right in the middle of. Trailing Larry Pearson. Tracy Leslie down to the inside.
This is when you hope everybody's aiming real straight. You're just kind of boxed in, and you're going along with the flow, and you're just putting a lot of faith on the rest of those guys to do the right things.
That's when you say, I hope this 22 knows I'm on the outside coming through here.
Yeah, he does. It's Jimmy Spencer in the Grease Lightning car. Ed Barrier caught ill this morning, and so Spencer in that car today. Ernie Irvin leading. Earnhardt second. Jeff Burton is third. We asked Ernie Irvin what he needs to most concentrate on to win here at Talladega.
I guess probably the draft, just being able to protect the outside and still go fast too. And if a guy gets on the outside, he moves you to the inside, you go backwards. So probably being able to protect your outside of your car.
Well, just as he was talking about.
Exclusive coverage of the FRAM Filters 500K on the Nashville Network is brought to you by Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. How many cars can you fit under a blanket? Try 22. The whole lead draft is just packed tightly once again.
And there's another Burton up there. That's Jeff Burton running in second there. He's showing a lot of muscle. And the car really looks to be working well.
Riding with Mark Martin. Last time around, he was the 8th place car. Randy LaJoie down on the bottom.
There's that move to the outside. Just like Buddy said, drive around on the outside. Then the guy that you get out there, you just hang him out automatically.
Boy, the two Burton brothers really working the top of the racetrack. Jeff in number 8, the Baby Ruth Ford of Phil Martossi. Oh, there goes Nemechek.
Stay down, car.
He does.
And don't go back to the right.
A little into the dirt bank. Not much. That'll take your breath.
The thing is, the main thing, like Buddy said, stay on the ground. Don't get to flipping.
Caution flag. Comes out at lap 37. Joe Nemechek.
He was right there in the front when it happened. He was running third. Last lap around.
He's back going again. We'll make it back around to pit road. Doesn't look like a whole lot of damage on that car. We'll check it out when we come back to Talladega. We're under caution for the third time. Joe Nemechek back on track after that slide through the grass on the backstretch infield here at Talladega that brings out this third caution flag. Let's show you what happened.
This is coming off turn 2 here. You see Nemechek, oh, the blue car. LaJoie right under him. It was like he got into the quarter panel or whatever happened. They touched off that corner and went around. And the key right here is not get it in the air.
That was so, I mean, he just barely touched him, but right at that particular point, the car is coming up towards the straightaway and it's real light on the back there, and it touched him and around he comes.
Another angle.
A little bit of a tap right there.
That was Chad Little just outside of LaJoie there, side by side.
Before they made it mandatory to put windows in the right side and those railings down the middle part of that race car, 2 years ago, that car would have went over and over probably 15, 20 times down that back straightaway, so it's working.
First pit stops of the day, using the big hammer to pound out that rear quarter panel on Nemechek's car.
Neil, that's about as easy as you can wreck at Talladega.
Yeah, and slide that far, he wrecked for a mile just about. Still got out of it in decent shape.
There's the way they come off pit road after that big flurry of activity. Earnhardt, Burton. Bernie Irvin up there. It takes about 2 minutes, actually more than that, to run a caution lap here, so Nemechek's crew will have a bit of time to get some work done. Vic Kangas and the crew, they're going to get one to go this time by, it looks like.
You see him working on the hood area. If you'll notice, that damage was done before he got in the wall. These things are made to go in a straight line, and when he turned it around backward, it sucked all that air, and the hood just broke all the hood hinges and everything off. The hood actually broke before it ever got in that inside wall.
Let's take a break while we're under caution. Chad Little feeling the heat today. Talladega, aren't we all? We'll be right back live on TNN. Today's exclusive TNN coverage of the FRAM Filters 500K is brought to you by Allied Signals FRAM Filters. You can pay a little now or a lot later. Getting set to go back to green next time. After that run off pit road by many of the leaders. Dale Earnhardt up front. Jeff Burton right behind him. Mike Waltrip is third. Ernie Irvin is fourth. Ken Schrader is fifth. Sixth is Randy LaJoie. Seventh is Chad Little, Robert Presley, Terry Labonte, Mark Martin, the top 10. Then Dale Jarrett, Larry Pearson, Jimmy Spencer, Ward Burton, and Tracy Leslie, the top 15. Green flag at lap 41.
You know, a few years ago, Jeff Burton's crew would have probably been 8th or 9th out after a pit stop. But you see, they run right along there with Earnhardt's crew. So they have a good pit crew.
And a good stop.
Well, Walter made a good move to the outside, get on the outside of Burton. Here he comes. And here he comes.
Taking Irvin and Chad Little with him. Dale Jarrett's got a run with a bunch of them on the bottom of the racetrack.
Something's happened to the 8 car. He's dropping back.
Chad Little up to third. As they stream around Jeff Burton. It's Mark Martin in number 60 up to the high side, the Winn-Dixie car. The MW Windows number 14 on Labonte just ahead of him. White car.
But the restrictor plate, that thing might have jumped out of gear or anything, Neil, and it takes forever to get them back up to speed.
Yeah, at best you can do it takes about 3 miles to get them up to maximum speed, so they're not up to full speed yet. They'll be doing it down in this corner. They'll get part of the back straightaway before they get them wound completely back up after that restart.
Single file, turn 2. Back to Jack Sprague in the Staff America number 74. And the Burton brothers nose to tail, trying to get down the back straight.
Look at Michael Waltrip leading this race now. Ernie Irvin right up under him.
He said he didn't think it'd take long to get his car to the front. It took him a little while, but he's got it right where he said he's going to put it, leading the race.
Schrader is really strong. He can make that move to the bottom and make it work, but I don't think he's going to be able to get in. If he could just squeeze in right there, he could really make that group go.
Irvin tries the bottom on Michael Waltrip.
Well, Chad Little, looked like he was going to let Chad Little hung out. Here comes Earnhardt right in behind Chad Little.
And right back up top again.
You see, Earnhardt didn't stay in that bottom lane, though. He's going up there, and when they hook up, they should drive right on by Chad Little.
Well, when you're in a different brand of car, the guys have a tendency to work with each other. Chad Little made a good move, a headsy move. He just almost made him, and then he's hung around inside.
You're riding with Chad Little. That's Randy LaJoie to the outside. And Robert Presley in the Alliance Training Center's car.
That's a hateful sight. Look at those cars going by on the outside there, and there's nothing you can do about it but just sit there and watch them go by.
Yeah, because they're not going to let you in.
No. Second pack coming. They lack about 12 car lengths of the first one, and there's Jeff Burton who's faded to the second group, along with his brother Ward in the Hardee's Chevrolet number 2. There's that second pack with the Burton brothers, Chuck Bound, Bill Elliott, the Budweiser car who started on the pole, now in that second pack. You're with Chuck Bound, our FRAM in-car camera, and that's Cafe Pontiac.
Mike can touch on that. They said he was running hot. We noticed on the pit stop they did get his car cooled down. They got a water hose and really cooled it down. So maybe he's got it where he can go down. He's got a bird's eye view of everything that's going on. There's Elliott down on the inside. Looks like Ward Burton up on the top side. Elliott's car was a pole setter. Maybe he thinks I can get this bottom and drive by some of these guys.
He's got some help coming up from behind now. That's Sterling Marlin in 48. Oops, there goes your help.
Sterling said, I think I'll help myself.
Yeah, and he did. Meanwhile, back at the front, Earnhardt's going to take the lead away. Mike Waltrip comes with him as they pass Ernie Irvan to the lead.
Boy, Irvan's going to fight him on that outside. So get Waltrip hung on the inside. He's going to get a trip to the rear now.
What a job Randy LaJoie is doing. He's been out of the saddle here for, gosh, a couple of seasons since he's had a ride. Dick Moroso tabbed him to drive his Busch car.
He's been parts man, truck driver, you name it, in different race teams, trying to get a shot at a good ride, and I'm glad to see him running well.
Irvan in the Kodak Chevrolet leads the pack. Earnhardt, LaJoie, Robert Presley up to fourth place ahead of Schrader.
He's trying to decide inside, outside. I think I'll go to the inside.
LaJoie worked with Earnhardt there. He stayed down low, so they jumped up in front of the 4 car.
And it got him second place. It was Mike Waltrip, the yellow car, and Terry Labonte.
Irvan, who led the last lap, is downfield.
12 cars in that lead pack now, back to Dale Jarrett.
Boy, there's Mark Martin taking a look to the inside. It's hard to tell if they're taking a look to the pass or look just to cool that engine down. But they're moving all over the racetrack.
You're riding with Mark Martin in the Winn-Dixie Ford. There he is behind Labonte, number 14. Schrader to the right.
Mark Martin thought about that outside lane. Said, no, this inside's doing it. While he was thinking about somebody pulled up on the right side, took that option away.
Larry Pearson, he too who finished second at Milwaukee. What did I say, 12 cars before? I think about 24 cars.
Yeah, all they got to do is start running two abreast, and that other bunch just catches right back up.
Boy, the yellow car went to the outside.
Mikey.
It looked like a bunch of them went by. A bunch or a covey? What is this? And there comes Ernie Irvan down on the inside. His car's been able to go up there and work that line, sometimes even by himself, and get to the front and take that lead back. He's holding his own. He's not losing ground. That's a big key, just to be able to hold your own. And when you get to the corner, you can make us ground. There comes Schrader to help you.
Folks, this is the place where you need wide-angle television. There's 22 cars in that lead pack, and none of them has run this lap in the exact same position they were in the last lap.
We were talking about Irvan leading in the lap before, and he's way back to back, and he's fixed to make a pass on Earnhardt for the lead again.
LaJoie leads the bottom group. You're losing a little ground here.
Yeah, Robert Presley's moved up into fourth place there. That don't mean a thing, though. He just made a jump to the bottom.
That's what, you'll go along there and you'll get up and say, man, I'm fourth. I'll just take the lead. And you get out there, and boy, if you don't make it to the front, going to be tough.
Well, let's see. There's Presley on the bottom. Is he going to get any help? Randy LaJoie's down there a little further back. Presley goes from 4th to 5th. Now the bottom fills up again.
You're right, helps on the way, but it's a little way back.
LaJoie and Pearson on the bottom with Presley.
Ernie Irvin's car really had the ability to just take the lead. It seems like as easy as anyone. Him and Earnhardt and Schrader have been able to jump out and go out of this front 3.
Might be a little smoke from Mike Waltrip's car is the word we're getting, scanning some of the radios, but nothing on the rear bumper. No smoke residue on that car. That's Dale Jarrett just ahead of the champion.
You know, Mike, if they even see one little puff of smoke out, everybody starts hollering. The car's losing smoke. I think they need to black flag him.
Yeah,
they like to thin them down.
The guys, for the last 20, 30 laps, they've been saying there's smoke coming from Waltrip's car. That's Ronnie Silver, the crew chief. I talked with him. He's talking with NASCAR now. He says there is no oil leak, and there was none on the back of the car. There is no oil in the pit when they stopped here. They're kind of mystified. He said people keep reporting it, but they can't find it. So they're just going to keep running. Right now, he says there is no problem.
and none that we can see, Glenn. He's in 6th place right now, just ahead of Robert Presley and Terry Labonte.
And the car seems as strong as anything out there.
Sure. Irvin leads it, Schrader 2nd, Earnhardt 3rd, Chad Little is 4th. Jarrett is 5th, Waltrip is 6th, and Presley is 7th. Jeff Burton back up to 8th, Randy LaJoie in 9th.
And Bill Elliott, if you notice, he's on the bottom right by himself there, and he's picking cars off, so he has a strong race car.
Elliott back up to the top 10.
Same time that was like the 52 car, Schrader, he was trying that top lane to see if he could get on the outside of Irvin and leave him hung to the inside.
Chuck Bounds in that lead draft, so is Mark Martin, Tracy Leslie, and Steve Grissom is in trouble. Looks like he shut the motor off on his car. It was dropping a bit of oil. And there's Grissom, maybe just coasting along down there in turn 1. 5-point lead. He came in here with 66 points on David Green. And I don't know if he can coast around to the pits from there, or we'll have to pull off on the backstretch.
Schrader going to the lead while this is going on. Another lead change. They changed it 2 or 3 times a lap. We're just getting them in the line where you must have had.
But those are the only ones that count, is who leads back to the line. They'll change 2 and 3 times a lap. 52 laps complete this time by.
I tell you, he's got a strong car. He's Chad Little. All day, nobody's really worked with him. He's been able to get to the front. He's up here in 4th place now. He gets up there, nobody worked with him. He comes back on his own.
Boy, I tell you what, if you count your friends out there, you'd run out about the 2nd finger. So.
Tracy Leslie's made a good move. He's up to 6th spot there, right behind Mike Waltrip. Detroit Casket Chevrolet.
There goes Schrader on the bottom.
Yeah, here comes Leslie up with him. Which way is Mike Waltrip going? He's staying up top, so here comes Leslie on the bottom.
Boy, Ernie didn't shoot him any. They were big buddies in the garage area this morning. I heard them talking. We're going to work together and everything. I believe that's counsel.
For the moment.
They worked together 2 laps. It's over.
Look at Tracy Leslie. He's coming all the way to the front in that red car. Underneath Earnhardt, underneath Irvin. And for the moment, he's the 6th different leader of this race.
As long as he don't whoop.
And Walter will work with him. There he comes.
Yep.
Now look at Irvin. He's caught in the middle between the 2 lines. And that's really a way to back up. He's got lines going by on both sides. It looks like he's stopped. You can see him in the center. It looks like the motor blowing up, and that's exactly what it feels like. They go around you on both sides like that.
At lap 54, the first Busch Grand National regular to lead this race is Tracy Leslie, to lead it under green. Earnhardt right with him. Chad Little is there.
I thought I saw in that other shot Grissom sitting at the top of pit road. I couldn't tell if he got into the pits. Now he's on pit road. He's okay.
You know, earlier I said something about Tracy had fallen off the pace and went back. I think that might have been a heads-up deal. He might have realized the cars were going to run real hot, and now they'll start cooling down. I mean, it's not as bad now after the car runs a while. I don't think it runs as hot as they will. Just when you first start, they'll run right up, and you learn to kind of pace the thing so it does not run hot.
Now Earnhardt back to the front. 7 different leaders. This is the 14th lead change as Earnhardt goes back up front. 54 laps complete. We'll be right back to Talladega. Chad Little led the last lap. First time he's led a lap in Busch Grand National competition. And Tracy Leslie's back up front. 3 lead changes since we went to break. Earnhardt, then Little, now Leslie. The pack starting to break up just a bit. 5 cars trying to take off. Leslie, Little, Earnhardt, LaJoie, and Schrader.
The thing that's helping that breakup is the 4 car and the 30 car right behind them are side by side. See it right there. Now they got in line. Now they didn't. There's the 30 on the inside. He squeezed. Oh man, squeezed right in between those 2 cars. Dale Jarrett behind him there, and the 4 car in front of him, he just barely got in.
In every one of the last 7 laps, we've had a lead change. Let's go down to the garage area. Glenn Jarrett.
Steve Grissom is sticking his face right in our camera, using our cameraman's towel. It's pretty hot. Steve, you fired the car up. Must be rear gearing problem.
Yeah, it's either that or transmission. I believe it's the rear end. You know, it's kind of unfortunate. The Cadillac Chevy was running pretty good. You know, we just out there long for the ride. We wasn't really no help to anybody. Our whole deal from the start of this race on was get that Cadillac Chevy up in contention, in the right position. Hopefully around the checkered flag and have something there, maybe get a win.
Well, it looks like right now they're going to try to get the car back out to help you get as many points as you can.
Yeah, I tell you, it's our first race to fall out of it. We wasn't running this in the second race. So, you know, that's going to happen. You're going to have this. But I tell you, the hard this team's got there in there. That gear is hot now. It's hot outside. They're trying to change it, get us back out there. But, you know, we'll be back next week at Indianapolis.
Well, best of luck to you. Let's let him get something cold to drink now.
Grissom, former high school football player in Gadsden, Alabama. Went to a small school, he said, so he played on the offensive line, and he was a linebacker on defense. Played the whole game. So heat, not a big problem.
About 20 miles, but he ought to be used to it.
Right.
Fellas, it's ironic. All 3 of the Busch Grand National points leaders are having trouble today. Grissom's in the garage area. We reported early on that David Green was in trouble. Now we're talking about Ward Burton. I talked to his crew chief, Freddie Fryer. He broke a shock on lap 43. So he has got his hands full right now. It's ironic also that those guys are saying, oh, there's oil on the track. There's oil coming from somebody's car. They desperately need a caution down here in the Ward's pit.
Thanks, Randy. Well, that 5-car breakaway once again becomes a big pack of cars racing for the lead. Here they come.
Ernie Irvin's back in 3rd place. We saw him a while ago get not hung out, but hung in. He had him on each side of it. They passed him down both sides and moved him back to about 14th place. He's right back up to 3rd again now.
You know, I heard Mike LaJoie say about 2 years ago, if I could just get a good ride, a good competitive ride, I could run with these guys. Look at him running in 2nd there. It makes you feel good.
Sounds like he knew what he was talking about, getting the job done.
He's got the talent. There are a lot of fellas working around some of these race car shops that have the talent to drive, but there are only so many good cars.
Dale Jarrett down the inside.
Jarrett there with Presley, Burton, Labonte. Halfway, we're just a little past halfway, we've had 18 lead changes. In last year's entire race here, there were only 17 lead changes. We're only half the distance.
I tell you, these guys are working with the motor things. We had a little more engine failures before. I'm surprised with the temperature up as high as it is. We're not seeing more problems even than we've had.
I think that's why we're seeing so many lead changes. The guy sits in 2nd there and he sees that water temperature creeping up. He says, man, I got to get in front somehow.
Some way, somehow. There's Schrader down to the bottom against Larry Pearson. Just behind him is Sterling Marlin in 48. Mark Martin in 60. Ford down to the bottom. There's Martin. Right along with him. Up into the banking at turn 3.
That tube you see going over towards the steering wheel there, that goes around the back of the helmet there, and this fresh air that pipes into that helmet and keeps the driver pretty well cool. He breathes in fresh air through that.
Breathing fresh air, Tracy Leslie down to the bottom. A little fresh air in the nose of his car, but no help. Now Mike Waltrip peels off from that 4-car line on the outside to go with Leslie. Maybe second will look better than fifth.
Well, this is going to, we had a breakaway about these first 6 of a few car lengths. I don't want you to look here. The minute they get side by side, all the cars are back in one package. Leslie's doing a heck of a job holding that inside lane and staying right there with the lead.
Well, he knows how, Neil. He's won 2 ARCA races here. 76th career Busch start. Still looking for his first win in this series. Done a good job of keeping a car up front today, the number 72.
He really didn't have that much help around that lap around the racetrack, and he stayed right there with him.
Now he's got Mike Waltrip and Ken Schrader and Terry Labonte on the low side. Earnhardt has Irvin, LaJoy, Little, and the rest of the pack.
There you see Schrader. He took a look upside on the top side, and he said, no, I better not do that just yet.
We had a while ago, we put 2 packs together. Now the 3rd pack is fixing to come on this back. We'll have the entire field back in one pack again in just a second.
Back straight away. Turn 3.
There goes Irvin to the lead. Down, just light up front Earnhardt right here. LaJoy right in behind Earnhardt. Leslie still fighting that battle on the inside. Schrader, he keeps taking a look at that outside. That's Chad Little he's behind. Chad protecting that outside line.
Here's your Napa Field standing update at halfway. Brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. All of these cars back to about 31st are on the lead lap. In fact, anybody who's not on the lead lap's in the garage.
That's about right there. That 72 cars is about as good a fight as we've seen on that inside and not lose ground by themselves.
One of the reasons he's able to do that is he's running very close to the car on the outside, and the draft is not pushing away on the car. It's actually pulling him up beside of him. That's the reason he can run side by side like that. See how close he is there?
Now we got 2 abreast, about 12 to 14 rows. The 1 and 2 and 3 pack are back together again.
Looks like a 190-mile-an-hour pace lap.
Heat race somewhere on Friday night.
Yeah.
Standing in Tom Peck's pit, he made an early pit stop, got right side tires, but the problem was he had some kind of fluid all over the windshield. He could not see. We told the guys, he said, guys, I got to come in. We got to stop. I can't see where I'm going. So that's going to hurt him having to stop into the green like this. He's down and way down. Costly pit stop. I don't know whose fluid that was, but boy, it was a mess.
You can, however, make a pit stop here without losing a lap. But getting out of the draft, that's another story. They'll overhaul you in a hurry. Irvin on the point. Earnhardt, LaJoy on the top side. Chad Little on the bottom. Mike Waltrip and Ken Schrader.
Waltrip and Schrader going to mount a charge at him now on that inside line, see what they do. Irvin and Earnhardt look like moved down the inside to pick them up.
There you saw Bill Elliott and Ricky Craven have moved up from the back of that lead pack up into the middle. 66 laps complete here in Talladega. A little past halfway. We'll be right back. That's Chuck Bound sitting on pit road. They've lost fuel pressure in his car as he calls for a cold drink. Jeff Hensley and crew try to make repairs. Jim Bound in trouble going down toward turn 1.
That one upside down.
2 cars in a wall. 1 sliding down the banking on its roof.
Now it's turning over.
Richard Lassiter.
Car slid a long way on its roof.
But held up.
Yeah, it looked like the most violent lick was when it was coming off the banking. It was just slipping when it was at a high rate of speed, and it caught as it came down off the banking.
Ex-football player from Arkansas was running in 18th position, having one of his better runs in the DTP Electronics Chevrolet.
Mike, you can see him in there moving around. That's a good sign to see. Looks like he's trying to check, see about getting out of that thing. See his helmet moving.
Looks like Jim Bound was the first car to get sideways. This happened in the short straightaway heading toward turn number 1. Let's show you what happened as Jim Bound pulls away. He's okay. Let's show you what happened here.
Oops. Oh, he seemed just turned out. Looked like got in the outside wall sideways.
And there was Lassiter. Right in the front of him, sliding up high as Jim Bound goes sliding through the infield. Bound in that Lux Foods Chevrolet, owned by his dad.
Dale Jarrett's car had a lot of damage. There was Mark Martin coming backwards.
And there's Lassiter. Grinding along on the roof, much like Phil Parsons did here several years ago. And when he hit down to the apron,
I think, Doug, there's a water bottle. It looks like, you know, his thermos bottle or something coming out the window. Hard to tell what it was. I mean, that's plenty violent, but nothing like it could have been.
Neil, the good part is you see the driver's door there is not caved in.
There's that right side window. It's fixed so the safety personnel can get the thing out and get to the driver.
and of course the roll cage held up as it's designed to do. Did a good job for Lassiter there. And the car, look, had it not been for that abrupt transition from the racetrack to the apron, the car might just have gone on and slid. But there's really no way to smooth and break that transition off for everybody to be racing down there. Let's show you Richard Lassiter's wild ride again. This is in real time as it happened. And he joins the Rusty Club.
Yep. There's Mark Martin. Got the grass on fire under the car.
Yeah.
The headers are so hot, and I promise you folks, the grass in this area hadn't seen rain in a long time.
There goes Mark.
He's okay. I think there was one other car involved that may have made it back to the pit safely. When Bound came off the wall, Dale Jarrett nearly missed it. Dale made a nice move to the outside, but he came down right in front of Richard Lassiter.
You know, you really couldn't tell, but it looked like something might have broke on that car because it was going just as straight, and all of a sudden it turned hard right.
Yeah, it made an abrupt turn to the right, more than you could actually cut the car and get it in that angle.
And Jim Bound was able to drive away. We saw him going past Richard Lassiter's car a bit ago. So second pit stop for most all of the leaders. There's Ernie Irvin's Kodak Fun Saver Chevrolet. The rear panel broken loose there.
Drag race out pit road, see who's going to be where on this restart. There's an umbrella blowing down the pit road. So that's a precious item today.
And there's Jim Bound's car with a flat right front. And Mark Martin going up on the hook. We'll be right back to Talladega. Well, we've had a lot of things wander around racetracks. Rabbits, deer. Neil found a deer Pocono. Now it's umbrellas. That one that bounced out from the pits almost made it to the grandstand. Here's Mark Martin's car, the Winn-Dixie Ford, being hauled back to pit road. And Dale Jarrett, I said he took evasive action. Well, he did, but ran slap into something. A lot of damage to Dale Jarrett's car. It's also going off on the hook. Let's show you what Mark Martin saw as he went into that scene.
Here he is coming through the tri-oval section. Right here, there's a car got in the outside wall. There's one going by. Wham, he hit the outside wall. You see him look up the traffic, looking back to the right to see what's coming.
Still spinning, still sliding through the infield.
You just don't get into the walls easy here.
No soft landings. And you see the damage. So while they clean up down in turn number 1, the word is everybody's okay. And we'll be right back to Talladega after this. TNN's exclusive coverage of the FRAM Filters 500K is brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. Still under the fourth caution of the day here at Talladega. There's Richard Lassiter's car being hauled to the garage to join those of Dale Jarrett, Mark Martin. And Jim Bound continues to run in the race after triggering this crash. Coming up next, live, NHRA Today, special live edition from the Mopar Mile High Nationals. And that will follow this telecast of the FRAM Filters 500K. Tomorrow you'll see live final round coverage from Brandomere Speedway out near Denver, Colorado at 7 p.m. Eastern Time of the Mopar Parks Mile High Nationals. Let's go down to the pits of Dale Earnhardt. Here's Glenn.
Well, Earnhardt's been able to run up front most of the day, Tony, but the big question now is fuel. We've got 40-some laps to go. Can you make it the rest of the way?
Yeah, we're going to try to make it the rest of the way. We'll put it that way. We're pretty sure we can make it. Track position so far, but we're not going to stop anymore.
Well, he seems to have been content a lot of times to run behind traffic. Yes. Have the temperature gauges and everything been okay in the car so far?
Yeah, he's been running pretty tight with Ernie and Schrader, and he pulls out and cools it off a little bit, and he goes back.
You got enough to hold him off? Has he got enough to hold them off?
I don't know. They're pretty tough. They run pretty fast when they stay in line, but nobody wants to stay in line.
Okay, that seems to be the story here today.
Wouldn't be racing, would it, if you wanted to stay in line?
No, that's what's good about it. You know the smart thing to do is get in line and don't pass anybody, but you're just not going to get a bunch of racers to do that. They're going to get out there and have a good time and say, hey, I want to lead this thing. The heck with the staying in line deal.
7 different leaders so far, 20 lead changes. It's more than they had in the whole race last year. Average speed slowed by the 4 caution flags down to 145 miles an hour. 25 cars on the lead lap, 2 cars. That's Billy Standridge on the outside in the Motorsports Designs Pontiac. Tom Peck, Chuck Bound trying to pull up. They are laps down. Ward Burton now posted as 1 lap down. Jim Bound 4 laps back. Steve Grissom back on track, 22 laps behind. And Mike Wallace trying to pick up some points. He is 56 laps down. Everybody else is in the garage. Getting set for a restart this time by. It's Earnhardt and Schrader. You see, numbers 3 and 52. Then Robert Presley is 3rd. Randy LaJoie, Mike Waltrip is the top 5. Chad Little, Jeff Burton, Bill Elliott, Sterling Marlin, and Ernie Irvin, the top 10. Then Tracy Leslie, Ricky Craven, Jack Sprague, Tim Fedewa, and Terry Labonte, 15. Hermie Sadler, David Green, Joe Bessie, Joe Nemechek, and Rodney Combs, 20th. Tommy Houston, Darrell Waltrip, Bobby Dotter, and Larry Pearson is at the tail end of the line. He came in a lap ago for a splash of gas to try to make it the rest of the way.
Somebody just came out of the pits was Ward Burton. He's working on that shock he had a problem with, and he just topped off.
Green flag at lap 75. 42 laps to go.
As Tom Peck got a jump on that outside lane, he's a lap down. He got out front. This pack will probably eat him alive down this back straightaway.
Pack pretty well strung out here on this restart. 3 wide, LaJoie, Little, and Bound.
It's not helping anybody. That 3 wide's going to let him break away from him.
Doing it at the front of the pack as well. One slow car, Jeff Burton, coming out of turn 2.
You know, he had a problem on that other restart, getting his car up to speed. It might give him the same trouble. Look at this, going to be 3 wide. Schrader to the top, Presley to the bottom.
Hello, Robert, new leader. Or is he? Here comes, here comes Kenny Schrader. And where's Mike Waltrip going? He's going to the bottom. And Robert Presley becomes the 2nd Busch regular and the 8th driver to lead this race.
Look at Chad Little dive to the bottom. We've seen his car all day long, right in the thick of this thing. And there he goes for the lead.
By himself.
I don't think he's going to make it, guys.
He almost made it. Earnhardt got up there and kind of give Presley a shove. Pushed him back around, Chad Little.
And now Little's going to get help. Here comes Mike Waltrip and Bill Elliott.
Chad Little's holding that inside lane with a little bit of help from Waltrip.
Little in 23.
Look, coming in behind him, that 4 car. Irvin, he got back a little bit on that caution. Now he's right up behind Waltrip.
He's got some strong help now. Elliott goes to the bottom line. No, back to the top.
Look at the back of that deal there. You see Bill Elliott moves right up in there in contention again. I tell you, that car is strong, and I believe he's going to be a factor right at the end of this race.
But while these top 10 cars run 2x2, the 2nd pack is closing. You're watching from Chad Little's car.
Boy, there Chad's in the center lane, like we saw Irvin while going to go by on both sides of him.
Mike Waltrip down on the bottom with Ernie Irvin and Tracy Leslie. There goes Earnhardt, squirting out from under Robert Presley. back to the front.
There's Irvin making it 3 wide on the bottom.
And Bill's right behind him. They could go right on to the front.
It's Tracy Leslie.
Yeah, Leslie slid in there.
Well, it looked like him, didn't it?
There's Elliott up on top.
Look at Irvin coming up there on his own in that inside lane.
Yeah, Leslie and Jack Sprague trying to come up and give him some help, and now it is Robert Presley by himself saying, okay, Dale, you did it, I can do it too.
He's got Schrader pushing there a little bit. So he almost got in there.
Couldn't get back in line.
Me, it's a long way back to another opener too.
Randy LaJoie tucked up behind Schrader in that 20 car. And Michael Waltrip came down a little bit. Presley just rolled out of the throttle for an instant, went back 3 car lengths.
Yeah, Ernie Irvin made a dive on the inside, just rolled right up under it, had to lift a little bit. Well, they got that front side strung out again, single file.
But now it's 13 cars.
All they got to do is pass a couple laps, and I'll have them back again.
Two Instant Cup veterans and a fella trying to make it a long way back. Randy LaJoie running the top 3.
Yeah, you see that little...
Chad Little's coasting to the garage.
Boy, he ran so good all day long, too.
That Mark Rippon car. So it's Earnhardt over Schrader, LaJoie, Waltrip in 3rd. We'll be right back to Talladega. We're back live at Talladega. Mike Joy with Neil Bonnet and Buddy Baker. Randy Pemberton, Glenn Jarrett on pit road. They have run single file now for the last 2 laps, giving everybody a chance to catch their breath. 8 cars have sorted out from the rest of this field. Then it's a group of 4, and then it's about a dozen. Earnhardt, Schrader, LaJoie, Waltrip, Presley, Marlin, Elliott.
You know, Neil, if they'll stay in line like this, they'll separate themselves from the rest of this field, and they won't have those 20-car piles like they've been having.
I tell you, buddy, just like you're telling me this, I'm sure those crew chiefs are telling those drivers the same thing. Hey, look, you're finally getting out of that 20-car pack. Let's get together here and get away, then you can race.
Now, are they running single file to get away from that pack or to conserve fuel, or both?
Well, you know, they all got to be thinking mileage right here, but I think the big thing just to get away from that big pack of cars.
That's Terry Labonte's the 8th car in line. There are those 8 and then 2. Joe Nemechek has dropped a cylinder, and he's now come onto pit road. A little body surgery at the right rear from the earlier accident and a look under the hood. 2 cars by themselves, Tracy Leslie and Ernie Irvin, are 8th and 9th, 2.4 seconds back of this lead pack.
Mike, one thing that'll happen when they're doing this, they do get into single file form right here. Some of the guys that were able to hang on because of that passing are going to start dropping off now. You know, here we are. This is Tracy. This is Leslie here with a 4 car. They're real good race cars, but they just got lost in that last shuffle. But even in this lead pack, if they stay in single file, some of those guys are going to lose 1 here, 1 there, and you'll narrow it down to 4 or 5 cars.
Neil, you see this 8-car pack here. They were just about 4 car lengths ahead of the 2 cars behind there, and in 4 or 5 laps now, they have 2 seconds on them.
Yeah, I think they see the good deal they got going here. I wouldn't doubt. They're trying to shake Labonte on the rear back there along with Elliott. Those 2 guys are on the tail of that pack, and they're trying to shake those guys off.
And that differential has now climbed to 3.2 seconds from 8th back to 9th. And it may climb a bit more as Irvin goes underneath Tracy Leslie, says, hey, maybe with me in front we can get up there. Back behind them, another pack of cars, Jack Sprague, Joe Bessie, Ricky Craven, Tim Fedewa, David Green, and Hermie Sadler, along with Bobby Dotter, Tommy Houston, Darrell Waltrip, and Rodney Combs. 20 cars on the lead lap. Larry Pearson has gone a lap down, so has Tom Petty.
You can see they're getting strung out a little bit more each lap. They stay in this line, you're going to drop some people off. This is all back in the pack. The whole field's getting sorted out now.
Yeah, that's that 3rd pack of cars. You have the pair of Irvin and Leslie. This is the 3rd group. Ricky Craven's leading it right now. These cars are all still on the lead lap and in contention. Craven is in 11th. leading the rest of this group.
Yeah, the same group of cars were in that 20-something pack. As long as they stay 2 lanes, and boy, now they're dropping off.
Well, they're like a straightaway behind the lead cars right now.
Joe Bessie and Jack Sprague. Then the group with Ricky Craven. And Larry Pearson's pulled it to the garage. 2-time Busch champion out for the day. So here are your 8 cars that are leading this race, about to pull up on Ward Burton, who is 4 laps down in the Hardee's car.
Yeah, you said they broke a shock. They've been in working on that shock and lost a lot of ground.
Neil, just a little while ago, you said to Bill Elliott and them were about to lose the draft. If you notice, they pull right back up on them.
Yeah, they're right back in the deal again.
Well, the defending Busch Series champions had a tough day, as has the point leader. Let's go down to Glenn with Joe Nemechek. All right, we'll get there in a second. There he is.
Trying to get back to go work the car a little bit more.
Yeah, Glenn was set to talk to him, but they wanted to get it in the garage where they could work on it a little bit. They put Steve Grissom back out on the racetrack for points. Grissom is 33rd, 30-some laps down. Now Glenn's with Joe Nemechek. Here's Glenn.
Well, the problem was the car was blocking the entrance to the garage area. Larry Pearson had to get his car in here and get it off the pit road. But, Joe, even after the crash, the car looked like it was going pretty strong then. What happened?
Well, you know, the dent team said not yesterday was running good. We got together, and I think it was a 20 car, and just the racing is so close. You know, we're having a blast out there, changing back and forth, and something happened. I think we lost the cylinder, broke the valve spring or something. But, you know, the car, we got it crashed. We got from the back. We went from the back to the front, and we're just having a good day.
Well, the good day is not so good now. The crew is trying to get the car fixed to get him back out there. They've gone after a rotor, I heard him say, so they'll get Joe back out shortly.
Thanks, Glenn. 8 cars are in the lead draft right now. Then a pair, Irvin and Leslie. And then a pair, Sprague and Bessie. And then another lineup of 7 or 8 cars.
These guys are going to be a little bit more cautious about stepping in a line, out of line. If you get out now, go to the rear, that line's going to be so fast you might fall off and not even be able to get back in.
You're absolutely right. I seen Ward Burton a while ago. He was going to wait to the end of that when they come by to lap him there, and he's going to fall in. He couldn't do it.
Look at Michael Waltrip just watching there in the driver's side window of his number 30 car. Waltrip reaching out for fresh air. Trying to direct a little bit of airflow as he went down the back straightaway and cool it off inside that cockpit.
The only problem, you stick your hand out there in 110-degree air. Well, that's outside, but on that racetrack, I'm telling you, with all those cars in the line, stirring that air up is a lot hotter on that pavement.
I said fresh air, didn't say cool air.
Yes, sir.
Here's your Napa Field Standing Update brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts.
I tell you what, Mike, at a time like that, some fresh carbon monoxide feels good.
I was going to tell you, Neil, he sticks that hand out just enough for that air to really get hold of it. He can wipe his own back window.
He'll need that window net to keep his arm on.
So for the moment, they're content to let Earnhardt lead, and this pack of 8 is 8.6 seconds ahead of 9th place Ernie Irvin right now. Defending champion of this race. There's Terry Labonte holding on to this pack. The Goodwrench Chevrolet of Earnhardt, the AC Delco Chevy of Schrader, 1-2. The Fenalube Chevrolet, or Ford rather, the Fenalube Ford of Randy LaJoy. The Vic Moroso car. Running in 3rd, the Pennzoil Pontiac of Mike Waltrip is 4th. The Alliance Chevrolet. Robert Presley is 5th. The Capio Chevrolet for Sterling Marlin. Now 7th, the Budweiser Ford of Elliott. Up there in 6th. BMW window Chevrolet of Labonte. That's the lead pack.
It looks like Presley and Sterling Marlin swapped that position at each lap. Every time we call it out to you, they change it. It's amazing you come down to a track this size with a 6-cylinder engine and get this kind of performance out of it. They really got these. Plus, they got that little bitty plate on them. It's just hard to believe that they can run these kind of speeds with that small of an engine.
If you're tuned in earlier and saw this 3- and 4-wide racing and now are wondering what happened, they've all made what they hope will be their last fuel stop as Chuck Bound comes slowly down the back straightaway. So trying to conserve fuel and also trying to break far enough away from that last pack so that you can settle among 8 or less drivers. That's why they're all single file right now.
And afraid to move. They don't want to get in a shuffle right now and get dropped off of this lead group.
Helicopter shot from our Polaroid Captiva aerial mounted camera. As you watch them roll up into turn number 3. Now, the only fellow who can make a move is Labonte. He's the last guy, but there's nobody behind to go with him.
No, this is where we need to be able to fast forward 20 laps because they're going to be pretty content to sit there and just work at it. We see Elliott stick out. You're going to see these guys shuffle the car left and right, but they're just trying to get those radiators cooled back up. Put a little fresh air in them. Just drop the inside a little bit. Show some cool air for that car.
So right now, 92 laps complete, 25 to go here at Talladega. We'll be right back live on TNN. Today's exclusive TNN coverage of the FRAM Filters 500K is brought to you by Allied Signals FRAM Filters. You can pay a little now or a lot later. Nothing much has changed. 8 cars still well out in front of the field. Front 3 getting a little distance on Michael Waltrip, and it looked a lap ago like Terry Labonte might lose the lead draft, but he's right back with them. He dropped back 3 or 4 car lengths. Hangs right with him. 8 cars strong.
They're trying everything they can to just drop the last guy off, eliminate somebody they got to deal with. These leaders are, but everybody seems to have sorted out.
7 seasoned Superspeedway veterans and the 20 car, Randy LaJoie. Man, former champion up in New England of the late model stock cars. His dad, Don LaJoie, won everything there was to win at Danbury, Connecticut Race Arena, now shopping mall. David Green's car is low on the apron in turn number 2. The number 2 point man's headed for the garage. That'll put all the top 3 in the points way back. Grissom, Green, and Bounds. David Green, Slim Jim Chevrolet coasting along.
If things had it, he's going to be lucky if he can make it back to the pits, but I believe he's got enough speed he can. Here comes the leaders up on him.
Randy LaJoie is perhaps best remembered for a Daytona 500 qualifying race flip coming out of turn number 4 in a car wrenched by Bob Johnson. It was in, I believe it was 1984. He flipped that car about as high as Ricky Rudd did in the Busch Clash.
And the car hit that inside wall in the air. Boy, what a lick.
Well, he certainly got something to take over that today. I'm going to tell you what. I don't know how you drive a better race than he's run so far.
He's in 3rd place. Driving for Nick Moroso. There's the lead pack. They're content to let Earnhardt lead. Now, Earnhardt, he's full throttle at the front of the pack because he's pushing the win for everybody there. How about Schrader, LaJoie, Mike Waltrip? Buddy, are they all the way on the floor, or you get a little break there running in the draft?
I'm going to tell you the honest truth. You wouldn't believe this, but the lead car gets the benefit from the car behind it because it's a wall of air behind that car that pushes forward and moves the front car along, too. So he's actually helping Earnhardt, but he's helping himself a little bit more.
Okay, but as Schrader got the throttle plate wide open.
I imagine they're running pretty hard right now. I'd say maybe they breathe them just a little bit getting into the corner, but other than that, not much.
Well, guys, what's even more impressive about Randy LaJoie's performance is that he and one other guy solely got that car ready to come to this racetrack. Moroso's crew is not as full as it once was, but they have an all-volunteer pit crew. There are only 2 full-time employees on that car. Randy LaJoie is one of them. I talked to him before the race. He was really excited, really convinced that he had a chance to win this race. And I tell you, if he should pull it out, that'll be one of the major upsets that we've seen in a long, long time.
Thanks, Glenn. It's an impressive run thus far for LaJoie. An update on the crash at lap number 70. Richard Lassiter is being taken to the regional hospital in Anniston for a look at a sore shoulder after he slid on his roof a great distance and then flipped down on the track apron and into the infield area, or rather the grassy apron alongside the racetrack.
Boy, see the yellow car, Mike Waltrip, that's Sterling Marlin, I think, directly behind him. And that place almost a gap. You say they're going to lose them. It seems like Sterling's car pulls back up when he comes up off the corner. It's almost, they're in jeopardy of almost falling off the pack right here.
That first black car, the Capio Ford, the Fred Turner car for Marlin, number 48. Robert Presley right with him. Bill Elliott and Terry Labonte.
you notice, he's dropping back a little bit in the corners, but by the end of the straightaways, he closed right back up on the back of Michael.
Well, they haven't separated this field out much. 8 cars are still in it. 18 laps to go. They'll complete lap number 100 this time by.
You know, we've already seen, too, anytime one guy makes a move or 2 jump to the inside, that guy running last has got a chance to win the race.
Now here's the second pack. Jack Sprague, and is that Joe Bessie? It is in the Auto Palace AC Delco car. They have caught Ernie Irvin and Tracy Leslie.
Well, that might be a blessing in disguise, Mike, because there was 2 of them running along, and they wasn't gaining. They actually fell back, and this other group caught them. Maybe the 4 of them together can make up some ground.
Neil, you're exactly right. They were over a straightaway behind, and now they're just about 3/4 of a straightaway back, so they may pull back, but I don't think they got enough time to close back up and win the fight.
Here's a look at the third pack. Hermie Sadler. Virginia's For Lovers Chevrolet leading Ricky Craven. That white Ford is Rodney Combs. 8 cars in that pack as well. Tommy Houston, the Rosa Stores car. We'll keep an eye on the interval from the first to the second pack. Right now it's 11.5 seconds. Tim Fedewa, Bobby Dotter, Darrell Waltrip are in that pack as well. Oh, we'll have 3 battles back to the line to show you it looks like. Here's that second pack. Now from Ernie Irvin up to 8th place Terry Labonte was 11.5 seconds last time by.
Irvin's car has been so strong all day. I thought once he got in front here of Leslie, he might be able to make both of those cars come along, but they need a little bit more help with them.
Right, Neil, and that third pack is actually now split off into about 3 different groups.
Yeah, and you notice they're fighting for position behind there, and they're not really in line, so that's going to hurt.
Lead pack across the stripe and back to turn number 1. Let's join them. There are the 8 cars racing for the win here. 15 laps from now. Earnhardt leading Schrader, LaJoy, Waltrip, and Presley, Marlin, Labonte, and Elliott. We'll be right back. You are looking at Joe Bessie's car, which has slammed the wall hard in the tri-oval, and Bessie has dropped the window net, unstrapping, getting set to climb out. The car took a spin and took a wallop into the wall with the left side. Let's show you what happened here to bring out the 5th caution of the day.
There's 2 cars side by side, and he got into him there, buddy.
Yeah, it looked like Ward was holding his line, and Bessie may have come down a little bit to pick up on the drafting car in front of him, and then they got together and turned him right into the wall.
Did just exactly what you don't like to see, hit that driver's door against that concrete wall, but he dropped that net down as soon as he stopped.
Bessie was battling for position with Jack Sprague, and he continues to sit in the car. Rescue crews talking to him. But he took a hard wallop. That whole pasting of the left side of the car was from that one impact against the outside wall.
I think he's telling me, yeah, I'm fine. Let me sit here a minute. Let these bells quit ringing, his buddy said.
They're going to ring for a little while. Bessie from Scarborough, Maine. Second leading rookie on the tour this year.
Okay, track positioning is so critical now. Do these guys come in or do they have to stay out? I can't imagine them coming in and giving up that track position.
There's Joe.
He's out going to help them see what's wrong with the car.
Yeah, giving a wave to the folks. He's okay.
Rubbing that neck.
Just a little bit.
He won't be able to rub it tomorrow to be so sore.
Nope. But he is okay, and that's good news. That was a hard hit. We'll be right back. Exclusive TNN coverage of the FRAM Filters 500K is brought to you by Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. Still under caution, 12 laps to go here at Talladega. A couple of raindrops in the area. Boy, that's a welcome relief. Doesn't look like it'll slow this thing down any. In real time, watch Joe Bessie. He's at the top of the screen on the outside.
Boy, look at the driver's side. Hit that wall.
We're going to stay under caution as they sweep up that area right where you see Joe Bessie's car parked. So we'll take this opportunity to go to break and come back with the restart and the finish. It'll be 10 laps to go next time by. Everybody's got a last lap strategy, where they want to be, where in line. Robert Presley's strategy is a little different than most.
I'm gonna put $100 bill on the mirror and just jerk it off going down the back straightaway, and anybody bothers me, you know, I'll hand it to him.
Getting set for a restart. This time by 10 laps to go, so they'll race 9 unless we are shortened by rain. Over the back straightaway toward Anniston, 12 miles away, we can see some heavy clouds and what looks like rain activity. There's Ward Burton. Hasn't been a great day for the fellas up front in the points. He's 4th place in the point standings. Next time we'll see these Busch drivers will be at the New England Chevy Dealers 250. Back to Bob Bear's beautiful mile at Loudon, New Hampshire. Sunday, August 22nd, live 1 p.m. Eastern Time here on TNN. Getting set for the restart. Neil Bonnet's getting his driver's suit on, getting back into his Simpsons so he can go practice for tomorrow's Die Hard 500. Here's the field getting set for the restart from our Polaroid Captiva aerial camera. Had a lot of comments on our modified telecast last week from Loudon, New Hampshire. I was up at Riverside Park for their tour race Wednesday night. All the drivers just said they've got a lot of comments on what a great show it was. I mean, it was what great racing it was that made it a great show.
I tell you, I've seen a lot of races over in my day, and I don't remember one that I liked any better than that.
It was a great one. They go on to Lee, New Hampshire next week. Randy LaJoie getting set to go for this final 9-lap dash. Nobody pitted. Earnhardt, Schrader, LaJoie, Waltrip, Marlin, Presley, Elliott, Labonte.
Well, nobody pitted is right. No one could afford to. They were trying to fake it down here in Randy LaJoie's pit. Here's the deal. He's stuck in the middle of 4 Winston Cup drivers, and I know you guys in the booth know what that's going to mean over the last few laps, but they did find a dancing partner. I think Michael Waltrip and he are going to hook up. There's a couple of crew members down here speaking to these guys in the FINA pits, so we'll find out if Michael indeed hooks up with Randy LaJoie.
We're going to find out shortly, Randy. Here we go.
Like I tell you, benefit from this was the 4 car in that group in that second pack. Let's put them right back in it now.
Green flag waving for 9 laps. That's Jeff Burton in the white Ford. He is lapped up on the outside. Mike Waltrip wants to go high.
Got LaJoie hung on that inside line. Boy, good runs he's had. He needs to get up in one of those, close one of those holes up. Here comes Presley plugging it in. He's caught on that inside.
Can't squeeze in there. Most all those cars are on the lead lap. Well, we're right back to the type of racing we had at the start. Schrader and Earnhardt go at it.
Boy, they bang together coming down that back straightaway.
Waltrip goes low. Marlin goes lower in the 48 car.
Here comes LaJoie on the bottom.
Tagging along with Schrader and Marlin. On the high side, it's Earnhardt, Waltrip, and Presley.
Coming 3 deep through the trial. Well, that's LaJoie. He likes it up front. He's wanting back up there.
Down there in a Ron Bouchard groove.
There's Ernie Irvin coming on the inside.
Uh-oh, 4 wide into the corner. How'd they make that work?
I don't know, but they're actually going to get through there without a crash, looks like.
And Irvin is coming hard. Off turn 2.
52 and the 4, Schrader and the Irvin car. Those 2 on the inside can work their way to that front, I believe.
Elliott gets back up into the outside line.
You know, Tracy Leslie's been running really good all day, and he's back up there with a shot at it, too.
There's
You see
Leslie.
him moving to the inside there.
Yeah, he'll follow Irvin. Earnhardt on the point. Mike Waltrip, Schrader, and Presley.
Well, there's Irvin going inside under Schrader. 3 wide through this trial section again.
Start finish line.
Irvin didn't make it. Matter of fact, he lost ground through there.
7 laps to go. Yeah, Schrader's backing up on that bottom lane.
I think the 52 of Schrader and the 4 of Irvin thought the 2 of them could do it. I did too. They both lost ground on that move.
Still a bit of shuffling. Terry Labonte's moved up to 5th.
You talk about shuffling. We've seen it all day. The big things are going. I don't know if they'll wait that last lap to do it.
You see who's in 4th place now. Bill Elliott has moved into 4th. He's been a sleeping giant all day, I tell you.
Last year in this race, Earnhardt led the white flag lap. Finished 4th.
do it this way. So we've seen what happens. You can lead one, you come back around running 10. There's Irvin. He's come back there with some lap cars. No, that's Burton's car back there, but 52 is Tracy Leslie.
And here's the lead pack, and they've got a little distance on Ernie Irvin and the rest of that group.
Looks like they're shaking one more car over here. I couldn't tell. It's like start of the Marlin.
So now 6 cars may settle it. Here's the second pack closing back up. Irvin and Tracy Leslie on the lead lap. They'd be 7th and 8th. And Neil, you're right. That's Sterling Marlin who's getting shaken out of the lead draft.
All you do is just lose that little bit of whip up there. Fall back. We saw him before. Flirt was getting off the lead back. This time looks like he might have lost it.
Look at the third pack there for a moment. 5 cars may settle this.
The only thing that would save Sterling right now if they start racing side by side again. If they do that, he can move right back up. But he looks like he's out of the draft zone.
Earnhardt, Waltrip, Presley, Elliott, Labonte.
If I was in this group right now, you couldn't budge me. I have to stay in line.
Yeah, you're almost going to, you almost say, well, it's got to be the white flag lap. But if everybody's anticipating that one guy or a couple of them get together, they might make that move early.
It'll be 4 to go this time around.
Well, it's not real early, is it?
No. And Ken Schrader has gone behind the wall. He's fallen out of the lead draft and out of the race. Coming up just 5 laps short.
Gives you an idea of how tough the competition. We didn't realize he's out of the pack.
Nope, didn't know he was gone.
I'm going to look real close and see if Robert Presley puts that $100 bill up there if he gets in the lead.
See if Bill Elliott catches it.
Yeah, exactly.
4 to go.
Boy, Presley was right on the wall through 1 and 2. I don't know if he drove it up there or not, or if the car shoved up on him, but he was right on the wall.
You know, somebody we hadn't talked about very much, and that's Terry Labonte. He's sitting right there with Bill Elliott. That's a whole car. And we know he's got the muscle. Those 2 guys might get together and really put some pressure on the lead.
He's got a chance to make a long run at it there from 4th and 5th place. Earnhardt, who led the white flag lap last year. Mike Waltrip, who won his last 2 Busch starts. Presley, who has 2 wins this year. Elliott, who got his first Busch Series win at Watkins Glen. And Terry Labonte, who finished right behind him there. Those 5 drivers got to run 3 more laps.
Neil, I hope you have this opportunity tomorrow to be in this situation.
Oh, I do too, buddy. I think it'd be great. Nothing like being in with a chance to win one of these big tracks right at the end. Well, they're just content right now. They'll be content for a few more miles, then it's going to go crazy.
There's the second pack, Irvin, Leslie, and LaJoy.
Even though LaJoy got lost in that last shuffle, what a race they ran all day.
He's had a great show. They're just 2 seconds back of the lead pack. The 2 seconds here can be an eternity. 2 to go. Earnhardt brings him across. Time to get busy. Waltrip stays glued right on his deck lid and goes to the outside. Presley comes down to the inside.
It does.
And drifts up. I didn't think there was room for Mike Waltrip up there.
There's Presley thinking about going 3 wide. There's Bill Elliott going to go right to the top.
Mike Waltrip made the right move, Neil, but did he make it 2 laps too soon?
Well, you know, Earnhardt's a tough guy to get by on that last lap. Maybe he thought he had him napping through that trial.
Robert Presley's the one that benefited by that move there. He's the man in the driver's seat now if anybody's going to have a chance.
If this was the last lap, Waltrip would have beat Earnhardt by a foot, but it wasn't. It was 2 laps to go. Here comes Irvin.
Man, look at Irvin coming up through there on the inside.
Yep, all that battling, and here comes LaJoy and Leslie. They caught him. This changes things. 1 lap to go. White flag this time by. They fan out 3 across.
Now,
remember 1981 in the 500 here. When Labonte thought he had it won, Waltrip beat him on the outside. Ron Bouchard took her to the bottom and won it. Same type of situation, only instead of 3 cars, it's 8 cars.
Well, they can't do it if they run side by side. Earnhardt's going to win this thing. They got to go now. Here went Ernie.
Yep. Tracy Leslie got into him.
It's set down, but it's going to take a lick on that inside wall.
Irvin to the fence. And the leaders to turn 3.
Yep.
Tracy Leslie has come right to Earnhardt after brushing Ernie Irvin, and Leslie goes to the inside. Randy LaJoie is right with him, and Earnhardt comes down to the tri-oval. LaJoie and Leslie for second.
Wow. Boy, LaJoie, we're talking about made him lose.
And here comes Labonte way up on the outside. It's Earnhardt, LaJoie, Labonte, Leslie, Elliott, Waltrip, and Presley. A wild finish. And Earnhardt got to see it all from his rearview mirror. We'll be back to sort it out for you right after this at Talladega. Exclusive coverage of the FRAM Filters 500K on the Nashville Network has been brought to you by Allied Signals FRAM Filters. You can pay a little now or a lot later. And by Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. Well, it was a wild finish here at Talladega, and there's the man who got to see it all from his rearview mirror, Dale Earnhardt in victory lane. Glenn Jarrett's with him.
Wait a minute. Well, they're trying to get Dale cooled off a little bit and get him out of the car. Dale, one thing I got to say, that looked like an awful lot of fun on that last lap.
Well, I tell you, we just had to outduel them. It was a little bit rough all day long, and they got to bumping into each other and carrying on, and you know, I hated for Ernie. That boy turned him around coming off, too.
All right, we're showing the last lap. Tell us what was going through your mind.
I seen Ernie coming. I said, where'd he come from? So I sort of worked both of them, you know, the outlets, outside lane, inside lane, and finally I seen Ernie was going to beat him, so I fell down there with him, and I thought, well, heck, you know, Ernie will draft by me down the back straight. Well, that boy in the 7-2 just flat turned him around.
What about the guy in the 20? He did a heck of a job, too, didn't he?
Well, he did. LaJoie did a great job for not being in a race car in a while, and I think he did a super job. He's right in there with him, and, you know, the 72 car, he was just wild all day long. I'm glad he didn't get me.
Well, once again, congratulations to Dale Earnhardt. And now let's go to Randy Pemberton.
Man, you would think these guys won this race. Randy LaJoie here, his father, Don, jumping up and down. I'll tell you, it was a great race to watch. But in the last lap, it didn't look like you had a prayer to get back to the front.
About 5 to go, I didn't have a prayer. And Tracy and Ernie, we just stuck together. When we come up, I said, boy, we stayed at the bottom, we're going to win this thing. And all of a sudden, Ernie left. I said, boy, we even got a better shot of winning this thing. And then I got a good run off of 4, got by Tracy, and I don't think I could have got by that black car. He would have made it pretty wide.
One of the best moments of your career?
This is a career day for me.
Congratulations on a great run, guys.
Buddy had a great run.
Oh, man, I tell you what, that's a happy face, and I'm happy for him. I know this guy. He worked for that ride.
Ernie Irvan had a tough finish. Here's what happened coming off turn number 2. Watch the inside line.
Yep, he just got in the back of him just a little bit. Don't take much. Boy, I was glad to see this car sit down. Right there, he was in a world of trouble.
Car came down on that infield dirt. Those rescue people are not nearly so close to that car as it appears from the long lens here. And there goes Irvan.
What happens there? You come up in that draft, it really pulls you right up in there, and he just didn't allow for it, and he run right in the back, Ernie.
And there's Ernie Irvan's car getting hauled off and away. When seconds count, no time for second best. Craftsman, official tools of NASCAR, presents the Busch Series points. Steve Grissom over David Green. Robert Presley moves up. Chuck Bound down to 4th, and Ward Burton will be 5th. As the Earnhardt crew celebrates Die Hard 500 here tomorrow at Talladega, and coming up next right here on TNN. NHRA Today, special live edition. Mopar Mile High Nationals out of Denver, Colorado. Here's the finish. Dale Earnhardt wins it. Randy LaJoie is second. Great move by Terry Labonte up on the high side to take 3rd. Tracy Leslie ends up 4th. Bill Elliott is 5th. 6th today, Michael Waltrip. 7th, Robert Presley. Then Sterling Marlin led the next group in 8th. Hermie Sadler, Ricky Craven was 10th. That's the way they came to the checker here at Talladega. Bobby Dotter unofficially 11th. Tim Fiedel with 12th. Tommy Houston, Rodney Combs, Jack Sprague, and then Darrell Waltrip all on the lead lap. Ernie Irvan, Tom Peck, Ken Schrader went to the garage. Joe Bessie involved in that crash. Then the Burton brothers, Jeff and Ward, Billy Standridge, David Green, Steve Grissom came back out to pile up some points. Then it was Chuck Bound, Larry Pearson, Joe Nemechek, Chad Little, and Jim Bound, 30th. Dale Jarrett, Richard Lassiter, Mark Martin, Ed Barrier, and Mike Wallace, 35th. Roy Payne, Jason Keller, Todd Bodine, Rick Wilson, Shauna Robinson, 40th. Harry Gant and Jeff Green. Typical Talladega finish, buddy?
Oh, man, I tell you what, this is something to watch, and these guys really put on a great show. I really enjoyed this race.
Great event for Dale Earnhardt, and you heard him tell you about the view he had in the rear view of Ernie Irvan going by. NHRA Today is next, live from Mopar Mile High Nationals, and you'll see final round coverage of that event tomorrow afternoon right here on TNN. Neil and I will speak to you next from Loudon, New Hampshire. Our next event, New England Chevy Dealers 250 on the Busch Series. As the Winston Cup cars get ready to come out for practice. All around the Speedway, we're reminded of Davey Allison, who will be greatly missed and who would have been in this race today. For Neil Bonnet, Buddy Baker, Randy Pemberton, and Glenn Jarrett, I'm Mike Joy, congratulating Dale Earnhardt on his victory in the FRAM Filters 500K.